Welcome to another exciting episode of Bob the Sign Man.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this exciting episode of Bob the Sign Man. So today I'm using my table to laminate some signs that I printed out. We don't have a laminator machine because, well, they cost too much and I don't have the room for one. And, a lot of cities and counties are on budgets, but we got this table, the roller table, the CWT, I always forget the number. What is it? CWT 1428. It's a smaller entry-level one. Does the basics, the table rolls up and down with the pressure roller underneath. It's got a compressor and stuff. Anyways, pretty good little table. So what we do is, I guess you refer to it as cold lamination. We don't have a machine that feeds it through. So here's what I like to do, how I have mine set up just like this. I'll show you. Is I enable my take-up reel, so it rolls it up on a nice roll for me. And here's a 36-inch one, and I have it rolled up on here. And then I can just have my roll here facing up with the seam going that way. Then I put my laminate, whatever I'm going to put over. This is the 1170C. We're going to get out of this 1170C. We're going to go with an 1160IA, I think it's called, which is pretty cool. It's a product that's been out for a little while yet, but I just kind of found it. I kind of wish 3M would kind of be more informative on stuff that comes out, but nobody ever comes by and sees the old Napa County sign shop. So word of mouth, I guess. Anyways, we're going to go to a new one, the 1160IA or AI, whatever it is. Anyways, it has the ultraviolet protection that stops it from fading. Plus it has graffiti guard on top of it, which is a win-win. So there we go. So I set my roll here, then I put my laminate in back of it, and then I can easily roll it out. So when I roll these out, my table is only like 8 feet, and these are 36-inch signs. I don't know if I can get 3 out. I set them on top of these rollers. These rollers are pretty cool. I don't know where you get it. They came from the table. When we bought the table, they came with it, so I got 2 of them. It's pretty cool. I can set it on there. Set my roll on, I can just roll it out. And what I do is I roll out 2 at a time, because that's basically all the room I have. And I'll cut this one. Got my little guide marks on here. And the reason I have so much space in between here is this series printed last, and then I was looking at more signs to replace, so I had to add a couple more on. And it always leaves a little space. You can rewind it a little bit, but I've kind of just go by what it leaves me with. There's always a little waste involved. So now that I have them up here, I want to make sure I don't have any debris on the top that's going to get in here. So it's always a good idea to keep your shop nice and clean. I have indoor-outdoor carpeting on my floor, and I vacuum it all the time, and I'm always blowing off the table. I have an air hose up here. I can make sure no debris gets in it. Then I can grab my laminate, roll it out on top of my sign. Make sure you get enough rolled out. And I just trim it off. All right, now I'm ready to start the, I guess you call it cold laminate process. Make sure that it's lined up evenly. Here and here. I got enough coverage. Actually, I need a little bit more down here. So make sure I cover that completely. Here we go. I usually go about halfway. Set my roller down. peel it back. This is the older stuff that has the thicker base to the back of it, the backing, I guess you call it. And it's much easier to work with than that new stuff, which is really thin. And what I do with these is the 36-inch ones is I'll slice them in half. They fit in my garbage can a lot easier. Okay, now that I have that, I always want to double check, make sure I'm not going to roll nothing in or anything like that. Like I said, I've rolled bugs in them before, and they've been just have to sit there, I guess, for the life of the sign. Sometimes you pick up debris. You want to keep watching your debris. Keep your roller clean. You don't want any of that stuff underneath your roller, underneath your laminate. Then we'll just pick up the other side and roll it out. Said I slice them in half. Otherwise, if you try to crinkle these things up, the whole sheet, they start to expand out of the garbage can, and it's usually a mess. So there, okay, well there it is. It's all cold laminated. I guess you want to call it cold lamination. It's on there, and then all I have to do then is just simply use my trim marks that I put on the sign when I printed it. And always trim off the side so I don't have that extra tape sticking out for there. Those go into my little stash that I'll stash away, and I'll trim these up later for reflectors. I got these little shelves over here where like today's project, I'm working on these signs. I'll just stash them here till I'm ready to cover them. And then what I do is I'll just roll out 2 more and then keep going with the process. Okay, you've heard me talk about, the waste. I save it and I trim it up. I'll show you how I trim up that waste. Here's some of the material that's left at the end of my rolls or when I'm trimming the signs out. We trim them down for these reflectors, and we put them on these. These are 66-inch road markers. They have several names. A brand name is Carcinite. This isn't Carcinite. We get this out of a supplier from Sacramento, Capital Barricades. And they're pretty good. You drive them in the ground, and they can take a couple hits. They can get run over. The gizmo to drive them in the ground is heavy. I'll show you the marker goes in. Obviously, the pointed end is going to go down. And then they just go and slide it here, and then you just drive them in the ground like a post hole driver would. So we buy them without the colors on because sometimes if we used to buy all the yellow and then we'd run out of the yellow ones and just have white, or we'd have white left over and when we needed yellow and the other way around. So what I do is I trim these down. So here's my trimmer, and these are, I believe, 3 by 12, and they'll go on the plastic markers here, fiberglass, whatever. So in order to get there, I'll have a scrap like this scrap I cut out of a sign. What I'll do is I'll measure it down and I'll get the 12 inches that I need. I'll probably get a couple out of here. And this last one is, just enough. So out of that strip, I have that left. Now I want to cut them down to 3 inches. And I put these little guides on here. So here's a 3-inch guide. It has a little black line on that side from a trim mark, so I'll just turn it around and cut that off. So there we go, 3 by 12. Do the same thing with this one. Watch your fingers in these things. These are pretty sharp. So there's my 3 markers that I can put on these. Whenever the guys drive them in the ground, they can put the color on. Yellow signifies that there's like an obstruction, like a rock or something like that. And the white ones are just simply, you know, to guide you around the corners, driving at night and stuff. So out of that strip, I got these 3. And I ended up with just that little piece of waste left over. And that's really, can't do anything more with that. So that just goes in the trash can. And then I have this like piece of waste here, and I just got to figure out, you know, what's the best way to attack this thing. And so I'll probably just end up cutting some of it down here. There'll be a straight edge on there, so I'll keep the straight edge. Go a little bit longer. That over. So now we got. See if I can get a couple of these out of here. Okay, so out of that piece I cut off, I got 2 nice reflectors, and then these are just waste that's not going to be used. Same thing here. I'll throw a couple of these out to try to kind of figure out where my best thing is. And I think if I cut it like right here, since these are all crooked here, there's no really straight edge to go. So I'll just kind of make my own straight edge here. So out of that, I got some reflectors out of that white piece that I had. And, you know, not a whole lot of waste. You're always going to have some, but we cut it way down, and we can reuse these for reflectors. And then when these get old or faded, you get beat up by the sun, we can just put new ones over it. Now, I don't know where I got this chopper from. It was a guy that used to work here. His dad had a business where he used to make little plastic things and name tags and desk plates and stuff like that. So he got rid of it. So he was going to throw it in the dumpster, and he asked me if I wanted it. And I said, sure, it'll be great for cutting that down. All I could find on it, zoom in a little bit. Well, a little update here. I did find some on eBay, several places around here, as you can see. They're readily available anywhere from, one was $99 to $299. So you can find them. If mine ever wears out, I'll just look for something. So anyway, there's a little update on that. Well, all right, there you go. There's how we do our lamination and get rid of some of the waste that I have, the scraps, not really waste, leftover materials, and then it goes into the trash. You get those little strips. There's not much you can do with it. So, you know, you get stuck, but then you need a little helping hand, little tip trick. You know what you can do? That's right. Just turn to the sign man. As always, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching this exciting episode. Bob the Sign Man is filmed in the beautiful Napa Valley. This video has been directed, edited, and produced by, you guessed it, Bob the Sign Man. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes coming your way. As always, thanks for watching.